Hello there, I'm Anna Amelia from North East Animal Rights. Welcome to another one of my talks on all things vegan. We haven't done one of these for quite some time because we've been so busy, but this one's about Christmas, about how to navigate Christmas as a vegan, so it's a perfect time of the year to do it. So I suppose the audience for this is twofold. It's for those vegans, either as a new vegans, celebrating Christmas for the first time, or for vegans in a non-vegan family, or for vegans who are just kind of like trying to get support as a vegan over this Christmas period. But also the other part of the audience, I suppose, is for those non-vegans who have vegans in their family, to give them a bit of a glimpse of what it's like to be a vegan at Christmas. When I was a child, my perfect Christmas was surrounded by my family, my brother, my sister, my mum and dad. There was a big Christmas tree with lights and all the decorations and presents under the tree, and we all came down Christmas morning and had an absolute whale of a time. We absolutely loved it. We had a great time. But kind of like fast forwarding to where I am now, I look back and I know that there's things which weren't perfect. For example, I know that my parents had a huge problem with getting the money together for the presents, for starters. And we know that Christmas is a very, very stressful time for lots of people for financial reasons. But also looking back, as a young vegetarian when I was younger, it was a stress because of the amount of animal flesh being consumed. I was kind of sitting around and I was kind of having to accept it that I wasn't going to eat this, but actually everybody else was going to eat it, eat the animals. And it was really, I kind of like look back now and realise how uncomfortable I probably was at the time. But fast forward to now, sort of 2025, and we have a huge problem as a vegan over this time of year because it's absolutely everywhere. We see adverts, on television for all these amazing food products, amazing and amazing sort of in inverted commas, because they're not amazing to us, but places like Marks and Spencer's and Aldi and Lidl and all the big supermarkets really go out on a limb to do these massive Christmas productions, and it's all based around what they say is food products, and what we see is the animal suffering and the animal flesh and animal products. So how do we protect ourselves? We can protect ourselves by kind of, I suppose, realizing that this time will pass. It's not going to be forever. It's only going to be for a few weeks. But it is a really difficult time. But we also need to talk to the people around us as well. The people who care about us and we care about them, we need to understand how we feel. My perfect Christmas now is, I feel as if I've kind of finally got it right. And I've been vegan for sort of 17, 18 years now, so quite a long time. But my first Christmas as a vegan was really, they were really very uncomfortable. Uncomfortable because I didn't really want to upset anyone. Uncomfortable because I can see people were making an effort to try and accommodate me. But really, it kind of like, it really didn't work. I was still going into rooms with loads of animal flesh cooking, and obviously all the smells which come with that. And you're leaving and you have it on your clothes. And you're sitting at the table with food being prepared for you, which is lovely in front of you, but right across the table, you've got everybody consuming animal flesh, and all sorts of animal flesh, which is just the excesses which we have at Christmas. And then you have obviously the waste of it afterwards as well. It's bad enough that people consume the animal flesh on that day, but there's so much waste, so much gluttony, so much excess, and it's absolutely awful. It's criminal. It's just fundamentally wrong that animals are being wasted in this way. So what we do now is my husband and I, we prepare our Christmas dinner the day before, and then we on the morning we go and visit our family. We don't have children, that's by choice, but we don't have children, so we're the ones who are expected to go around everyone. But actually that now works for us perfectly, because we go and see our family members and swap presents before all the cooking and everything has started, and then we come away, we come home, we heat our dinners up, and then we take them down to the beach, and we have this amazing Christmas day on the beach. And usually, the weather has been pretty good. Actually, the last few years, we sit on the beach, and there's surprisingly a lot of people on the beach with similar sorts of ideas. But we're very, very lucky to live close to the beach as well. But we sit on the beach, listen to the waves, listen to nature, have our Christmas dinners with our Christmas hats on, set the Christmas pudding on fire with a bit of alcohol, and it's just great. It's really, really brilliant. So that's our perfect Christmas. But how do you get to that point? Because if we are lucky that we don't have any other ties. We don't have children who are expected to take around to their cousins and uncles and aunties and things. So you have to kind of decide for yourself what are your lines in the sand. So a very good way of helping yourself over Christmas is to be very clear what your lines in the sand are. So it could be about presents. So make sure that if people are buying you presents, make sure that the presents that you use and you want, you want rather than then you're going to be sort of like giving away to charity in the new year, because that's a shame for the person who bought you the present because they're spending money, but also it's a shame for you because you don't get a present. So make it quite clear. Suggest things to them. And I know from experience that non-vegans have a real problem. They don't know what to buy for vegans. They know it's a bit of a minefield, and sometimes they get you a present which is totally inappropriate, but it's not malicious, it's not deliberate, and really a lot of them would like some help being guided. So suggest things to them. Suggest whether it's a donation to your favorite animal sanctuary, or whether it's I mean, in one year I've asked for things like bales of hay which I can donate to animal rescues. But if you want a present for yourself, that's absolutely fine. Ask them to buy you, a vegan T-shirt, a T-shirt with a vegan message on, or food products like chocolates, which are suitable for vegans. Suggest some places that can buy them. Suggest the signs which they're looking for. Like specific products which are cruelty free. There's lots of products out there for vegans. I mean, I get for presents. For me, I'll ask for maybe a T-shirt. I'll maybe ask for some chocolates. And some maybe a little bit of toiletries. Toiletries is great. They are useful presents, because you use them all year round. But things which you definitely need and definitely you're going to use as well, and you're going to enjoy, and you're not going to have that sort of like sinking feeling when you open a present thinking, yeah, that's great, but it's another present I can't use. And I suppose the other argument is not to put so much focus on the presents as well, to focus on spending time with people. That's what Christmas is supposed to be about. Technically it's supposed to be a religious event, but we know that a lot of people don't, the message has been lost and it's very much commercialized. So look at the positives you can get out of Christmas as well. And I suppose putting the present part of it aside as well. I mean, the other part of Christmas as well is, and this is what if you're an animal rights activist, this is something which is so time consuming, and it kind of like makes us churn over Christmas, like the build up to Christmas, because we know there's so many animal abusing events. There's reindeer events, there's events which have other animals, donkeys and alpacas, and so just bizarre things over Christmas. Everybody just seems to just think that it's such a selfish, gluttonous, excessive period, and it's all about them rather than the true message, or that even that alternative message which is about family and getting together and looking and spending time with people. So we sort of spend the build up to Christmas being absolutely stressed a bit because we're constantly looking around for events which have reindeer on and responding to those. And all the other sorts of things, where animals are used in awful ways in the build up to Christmas. So you can have a cruelty-free Christmas, but you have to make sure that people know what you want, and know that how you're going to spend it. But what I would say as well is, if you can see your family members as non-vegans are making compromises, make compromises yourself as well. So it's not about digging your heels and saying you're not going to go somewhere. If you think that you could potentially have a good Christmas, just make sure that you're not making compromises which are bigger than their compromises. If they're putting vegan food on for you, plant-based food, that's brilliant. But also make sure that it's not going to be at a compromise of your ethics. A lot of people won't sit down with people who are eating animal flesh, and that's great. That's perfectly their prerogative. But the alternative part of that is if you are sitting down as a vegan, having plant-based food, and other people are sitting eating animals, it's an opportunity for you to talk to them about what you're doing, and also an opportunity for them to see what you're eating as well, and seeing that it's a really, really delicious meal. So there's no right ways or wrong ways of the choices you make over Christmas. It could be that you spend Christmas just literally trying not to see what's going on around you. That's absolutely fine. You have to get through Christmas your way. But I would say make sure if you do draw those lines in the sand, make sure it's not at the you're not going to spoil Christmas for you, and make sure that people understand the reasons why you're taking those stands, and try to have those conversations. I would have those conversations as early on as possible as well. Don't wait until a couple of days before, because what I've done in the past is I've kind of like had one Christmas, had a really bad Christmas, and then spent the next week of the Christmas and New Year holidays getting really chewed up and chained up, thinking I'm not going to do this again next Christmas. Next Christmas will be different. And then the conversations start about Christmas kind of in the summer, about who's going where and who's doing what, and it's just so stressful. So you kind of need to know, you need to kind of like work out what you want to do for Christmas and how you're gonna get that message across to people, you know, in a kind and caring way, in a way which is not going to embarrass or upset them, but also making sure that they are absolutely crystal clear about your ethics. And it's not about you being awkward, it's not about you being difficult, it's about you making a stand for animals at a time of year when animals are at the, you know, at the back of everybody's minds, and obviously the forefront, the front of our minds all the time. So I'm gonna end there. I mean, thank you very much for listening. I hope that's given you some plant-based food for thought. But obviously, if anybody has any ideas of their own, I mean, if any sort of like things that they do, please pop them in the comments. I mean, I would be very interested to hear your own take on how you do Christmas and how you get your message across to your non-vegan family members and your friends, and you know, the compromises you prepare to make and the compromises where it's kind of like a step too far. And any ideas? I mean, I'm really interested to hear from you as our supporters and followers as well. So I'm going to sign off now. This is Anna Amelia from Northeast Animal Rights. You know, giving all those vegans there some support through Christmas, and please get in touch if you need support. You can contact us through all of our social media or through our email address as well. So thank you very much for listening, and bye bye for now.